Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brad Matheny. This video is to help you understand how to use the MENT Movers hot list more efficiently. Now, I have just recently made some changes to the thrust indicator here. I'm trying to color code these more efficiently to try to help you, and I'm trying to tell you or show you as MENT.com members how to use the bull bear trend, which is this indicator here, this 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and it'll go down to negatives down below. But understand, I'm trying to show you how to use the primary trending mechanism, which is called the bull bear trend, and the secondary shifting system, which is the bull bear shift right here. So that's 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3. And the thrust patterns here independently to try to make decisions. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through a couple of examples and try to explain to you. Now understand that I personally like to look for the strongest trends, which we have a lot of 8s here. This image was taken first thing this morning and shared under my Discord channel. But generally, now the way the bull bear trend works is it can move from a plus 8 or 9 to a negative 8 or 9 as far as trending. Obviously, plus 8 or 9 is very strongly bullish. Negative 8 or 9 is very strongly bearish. Now, the way the trend works is the market moves in phases. So the markets move up, building momentum, building strength, building trend. An 8, 9, 10 is typically the strongest you're going to get to in the trending system. It also can be indicative when you get up in those upper levels of nearing a stalling pattern. So understand, when you're looking at this CMCSA, you see here how it's moved up, stalled, moved up, stalled, moved up, stalled, moved up. So you understand that when you get into 8, 9s, 7, 8, 9s, you could be very close to this type of a pullback period. Now these pullbacks, remember, from this peak here to this low was a 3.7% pullback. From this peak here, open price here, down to this low, or this low, which actually we'll say this close, was a 1.82% pullback. So you must be aware that getting into triggers that are fairly late could present an issue, okay? You don't want to be chasing triggers that potentially may be very late, which is why I like to focus on like the 5, 6, 7 triggers, and maybe the 8s here. But I want to try to see that we've either completed a pullback recently or we've built a solid base. Now, ideally, also, I like to see that we are in some sort of a continuation type trending. So I'm going to show this here by trying to show you some type of continuation trending. I don't want to see big spotty activity like this off of earnings. Okay, now maybe for a day or two, if I'm going to try to take a trade, I'll trade this move. But generally, I want to see some consistency, and we'll look at this as we look at different examples. But I want to see some nice, trendy, consistent type of price swings. I do not want to see something that's all over the place, going sideways, trying to figure out how to trade that with any degree of success. So understand that I am really, personally, I'm more focused on the high success 3 to 7% trends. Okay, so let's take a look here. I'm going to start just with the top. WFC is a bull bear trend of 8 with a bull bear shift of +3. To me, that is a good solid trend. Now, typically I'd be looking for 5s and 6s, but I do like these 3s set up. So I'm going to stick with anything that is a 3 or more, okay? And then I would be looking for thrust. Now, the way that thrust works is that This lighter green color is the strongest type of thrust. This middle green color is the intermediate bullish type of thrust. This bluish color is weaker bullish type of thrust. This purple color, which is here, is the more intermediate bearish type of thrust. And this red color here is the deeper downside type of thrust. In fact, let me make sure here. That's the purple. I was telling you, that's the more intermediate, weaker downside thrusting pattern. The kind of the, let's call it purpley red, this color, is the more intermediate downside thrusting, and the blood red is the more strongest downside thrusting pattern. So right now we're looking at bullish triggers. The reason we're looking at bullish triggers is because the market research I have is indicating everything is moving up. Yes, we are getting an SPY topping pattern, SPY cycle pattern topping pattern today, which means some of these short trades may show up. We don't have a bunch of short trades here, so I'm going to focus on the longs mostly. So let's look at WFC. WFC is a bull bear trend 8. It's a bull shift of 3, so it's a strong trending, barely makes our minimum bull bear shift, and we have a very solid thrusting pattern. So generally, it's doing pretty well. Profit factor is 0.95, which means it's holding up. It's not making a ton of money, but it's holding up fairly well. And it's got a win rate of 1.56, which means it wins more than it loses. Anything that's got a win rate of greater than 1 will be performing. So ideally what you want is something like this, 2.04 and 3.29, or 1.97 and 3.67. This means it's got a high win rate, and it's got a high profit factor and a high win rate. When you get into like something like this, that's 0.56 and 1.0, this is not winning very often. Okay, so you want to basically be, let me look at a bare minimum, really not seeing one here. Probably this one, 0.95 and 1.50. That's about as close as you get to maybe break even. It's this one maybe over the course of a year, unless it improves, which is Citigroup, is going to be a 0.95 profit factor, which means it's kind of holding its own in regard to profits, but it's got a win rate of 1.50. You know, when you get into the middle of the ground, like 0.61 to 1.0, this means it's not making a lot of money when it's trading, and it's pretty much flat on a win rate, a 1-to-1 win rate. Okay. Okay, so let's go over what's going on here. Now, the shift, we want to watch for these shifts when they come up. I'll probably add another column here to tell you how many days ago this shift occurred. But again, when you're in this mode and you're in the thrusting mode that's positive, and you have a decent scenario here, you're going to get some follow through, because the way the thrusting pattern works is the thrusting pattern will shift down when the market changes direction, and it'll move into either a weaker trend or into this kind of a bluish trend if it moves downward enough. But remember, the TTScanner system is bullish. It's in a long trade. It's already hit its targets. It's only 4 days ago. So it got into a trade 4 days ago. Let's take a look over here. Got into the trade right here. Nice, beautiful move. Try to drag this over. Almost 8% in the trade in 4 days. Nice, beautiful move. Good, solid trending. You see the type of trending that I'm looking for. Very simple to be able to see that we're channeling over the last couple of months in this mode. And it's, again, beautiful setup. Options traders, nice, easy setup. Where would you want to place your stop? Well, there's a stop already listed here at 43.19. I'll draw a line right across 43.19, roughly right in here. There's our stop level. Where's the... oh, there it is. Okay. Drag this up here so I can find it. And again, the strength here is in the trend ranking, the bull bear shift, and the thrust pattern. Let's take a look at the next one, CMCSA. That's the one that I was looking at earlier. So here's our CMCSA. Get rid of the rotational model here and try to click it. Okay. We got in CMCSA is a brand new trigger as of this morning. So we've only been in the trade for 1 day. We have 0.88% profit. Our stop level is we are at 42.04. So our stop level is down in this area. It's 42.07. It's actually a little lower. But again, good, solid trigger off of an 8, 3, and then a positive green thrusting pattern. We do have a new trigger today, so it's set up very well. Apple. Take a look at the next one. Apple, good, solid trending. Again, very clean trending. This is kind of what you look for. And clone. And we have Apple is a 82-week-old trigger. I'm not going to go all the way back to that. 82-day-old trigger. But we have an 8, a +3, and a plus 427. So where did we get in? We got in at 157.32. 157.32. Just going to guess that it's somewhere around 157.32. Could be here. Could be over here, more than likely over here. It's 82 days ago. But again, this is our trade off of the TTScanner trade, 82-day-old trade, up 24 roughly percent. There we go, 24%. And with regard to the +3, +8, +42.78 on the thrusting, look at how it gave us a beautiful trade here into this move higher. Now we got to watch what's going on here. What do we have here? News. Okay, so we haven't seen any real maturation of this trade yet, but again, this is a good setup. It's good, trendy. Where would our stop be? Stop is at 156 right now. I wouldn't use this stop. This stop is way down here at 156 off of the original system, the original trade. So it's down here right now. I would personally, if I were to be taking this trade, I would have a stop system or a stop level kind of near this gap here. You see this gap right here? This is the gap I'm looking for. It's got to hold up and mature upward and then stay away from this gap. Okay, let's come down here to Wall, W-A-L. Again, Wall is a +8, +3, +59 with a bit weaker trending. Still, Wall had, you can see the momentum building off of this low. We come up, we rotate, building momentum, and we get this breakout. Remember, this is a new trigger as of just this morning or yesterday. You can see here that we have this resistance coming across this area. So we had just broken above that resistance. Very interesting trigger. Wouldn't want to be holding this for very long, but as long as this breakout occurs, and we have a new trigger as of yesterday at 41.75. So that was 41.75 was down here. We're already up into 15.47% profit. you can see here, we've already, as of this morning, was reporting 11.19. Again, the trigger is very solid. We would be looking for some follow through of this trade, possibly up into the 50-51 area. And again, given where my stop is and where I want to contain the risk, I would more than likely have a stop level somewhere in the middle range, the upper middle range of this middle bar here. I wouldn't want to have too big of a stop in regards to potential downside risk of a spike. This is a good solid breakout, maybe a 1 or 2 day options trade, maybe 3 days max depending on what happens. But again, we're not seeing that real solid trending. This is more of a breakout move. Okay, so we were at wall. Did I miss KMD? MD meets the criteria, so okay, MD is an 8 with a 4 and a 64.20. Now take a look at trending on MD. MD is in a somewhat of a down sideways trend. Okay, we are not seeing that upward trending, so I wouldn't be too aggressive about trying to buy this. We are getting near a breakout here, so you do have a potential for upward moving with MD, given the fact that we're in an 8, a 4, and a 64. We don't have any new trigger. Again, my stop level would more than likely be somewhere in this area here, simply because I want to give the trade room to mature, but I don't want to take excessive risk back to the downside. My upside target would probably be more along the lines of here, which is a 5.3% upside target roughly. And how am I doing this? I'm looking at previous resistance areas, right in this area. So I'm coming down off of that area, down into these bodies, which gives me this target area here. So you've got a pretty good move here at MD. It's positive. It looks like it's trying to break out. We'll see how it plays out. Remember, these triggers that I'm showing you, most of them have only, I'm looking at them like I'm just looking at them this morning, trying to make, or yesterday, trying to make decisions whether or not I like the trade or not. So now we start moving back down into triggers that are more into my area, Cisco. So I like triggers in the 5, 6, 7 area. We're in 7, 6 with Cisco. 7 upward trend, 6 for bull bear shift, moderate positive 12.24. Okay, so now you can see we've had quite a bit of rotation here around dividends and earnings. We are moving back up to the upside here. Good solid trending. I do like that. We are moving closer to the upward resistance channel here. Now you can see we have this kind of resistance right across here, which is concerning. We do have this gapping formation here, which is somewhat concerning. My stop level would be right below or within this gap. I don't want to risk that gap turning into a big flushing filling to the downside. And like I said, for a 1 or 2 day option, if it breaks above this, gets a big move, maybe into the 53.25 area right up here, I'd be looking at this as a pretty good opportunity. The reason I like it is we've got this good solid consolidation to the upside, this nice trending. You see, when we get into this trending and we stay in this trending, this is good. We've also had this pullback right here. So we rallied up, pulled back, rallied up, pulled back, rallied up, pulled back. Now we're getting that gapping move up. So to me, this has already come down, built the momentum right across here, double bottom, and now we're getting that potential breakout move to the upside. So I would, I'd be looking at this. I would just want to have my target in an area that's reasonable. So hypothetically, from the open of today where we got in, maybe up in this 2.6 to 3.25 area. So 53.20, 53.50. And as an options trade, that's going to be a 15, 20, 25% type of an options trade. For a stock trade, 2 to 3% on a stock trade that lasts 2 or 3 days, and you can do this over and over and over again, and the opportunities are nearly endless. As long as you're able to contain your risk well enough, this is really an endless supply of trading. So let's move down to the next one. So we're at 6s, and we're looking for 3s. We don't really get any 3s until we move all the way down here to USFD, 5 and a 7. So again, USFD. Okay, big, beautiful trend. First thing that catches my eye is this bottom, moving all the way up over here. And, I mean, this is exactly what I'm looking for, folks. What I'm trying to teach you is to do the same thing. You don't have to be greedy. You don't have to trade everything. You can trade independence, independent setups as efficiently as you like, okay? Now we're getting this basing, so remember, trending up, basing, trending up, basing, big breakup, basing, trending up, basing, trending up, basing. So we've just had a pretty good basing mode here, okay? And we have a 5-7, we're long, 30 days already, but we're at minus 20. So here's the thrusting pattern that's telling us that minus 20, as of this morning, is still green, okay, but it's fairly weak. So in this type of scenario, you would try to take a look at where your risk levels are. My risk levels, my stop level, would probably be right in this area. My target area would be up into here, and I'm going to have to shrink this. My target area would be up in here, 3.52 maybe percent, $1.56 higher. I would want to see it hold up in this area and start to move higher. A 5 and a 7 is a pretty good move, okay? It's a pretty good move. That means that it moved from a negative bull bear ranking up 7 to 5, from -2 to 5. It's already long. It's in a solid trend. It came down and based off of this low. The only thing that we're waiting for is for this trending mode of the thrust pattern to move in. Now, obviously, 0.53 and 1.14 shows that, it's not overall very profitable historically with the TTScanner system, but it doesn't mean that there's not opportunity here with this setup right here. And then we have one here, 4 and 10 with post. So let's take a look at post. Post is, wow, a little bit all over the place. Now this is the type of chart that, would almost scare me away from not wanting to take this trade. Again, it is moving downward. We're in a downward cycle trend. You can see the general slope of the trend here. We're off near these highs, back over here. We have a plus 10, big pop in the shifting pattern. That's a very big move with a plus 10. And we are plus 24.99 here. It is still showing a profit factor and win rate that is not fantastic. But as long as we get this type of a bottoming formation to be holding around here, which it looks like it is building support around here, then we have, let me try that a little cleaner, then we have an opportunity here. And the opportunity is with that 10, with the bullish ranking, and with the thrust pattern moving higher, we have an opportunity for maybe a move up into this area here, which is really coming off of these highs back over here. So I would expect this to be some resistance. I would expect this to maybe be my upside target. I would expect then that I have a 2.88% objective. to the upside, and I would likely want to keep my stop level somewhere in this middle area here, which means that I am going to have a 1.46% roughly stop level. And this is again how you can use these MENT movers. Now understand that you don't, if it's in a downtrend and it's kind of weakening, you're maybe looking for a pop, a quick little pop. If it's in an uptrend, like we saw with WFC, let's just go to the first one. If it's in an uptrend like this, this gives you very solid confirmation, especially if it's just come down and based off of this level here or over here. You could get a good solid breakaway trend. But again, the theory here is that the trending mechanism with the bull bear trend and the bull bear shift criteria give you the ability to see setups as they're occurring. Now the new thrust system that I've worked on over the last 2 days to try to help you is going to provide you some greater confirmation. So hypothetically, negative thrust means that the market is contracting. Red thrust in a bullish trend here means the market is contracting. You can see that here with the bull bear shift coming down. This thrust here being negative with KBH, although being positive here. So let's take a look at this. KBH. So what is happening here, ladies and gentlemen, with KBH? We got a positive 7, a shift of 1 means it moved up. We are long 2 days ago. We got a big breakdown today, obviously. Thrusting moved downward early this morning off this big breakdown. Our stop was at 53.70. So without freaking you out, understand that our stop level was right. Get my mouse to cooperate. Right around here. So, yes, we took a loss on this trade on KBH, and understand that it was a quick little loss on the actual trade because we got long 2 days ago. We didn't hit our targets and this rolled back downward. But again, KBH did not qualify with our plus shifting, and it indicated with the thrusting pattern in red from this morning that we were seeing very strong weakness. So, what's going to happen likely with KBH is we are going to be rotating back down to this channeling mode. More than likely, rotating back down to this channeling mode and resetting back up over here for another upward trend. So we will be coming back down to here, resetting basing, and then maybe moving back to the upside. We'll just have to wait. And remember, this is what movers are all about. So now, let me see if I can do this and drag this over here so you can see the weeklies. Okay, so here's our weekly setup. So we're going to start looking for threes, +3, USFD. USFD, we've already looked at it. Remember, this is a weekly trigger. It's qualifying with an 8 and a 3 and a 47. Here's a 7-4 flat. COF, COF. Okay, getting good solid trending. You can see the channeling taking place here. We want to try to look at where we are within the channeling range. We're kind of near this basing mode. My stops would be down in this middle area, trying to stay away from any potential pullback. So maybe right in this area. And we would be looking for some sort of a carryover, maybe up into this 120, 121 area. Let's take a look at the next one. Here's a 7-3 LPX. Now remember, weeklies are the same thing. Well, now LPX here is a new trigger with downward trending. So this is, again, we got our 7-3. We're already long. We have a stop at 93.80. 2, so let me make sure I read that right. Sorry, 76.40. So we have a stop down here at 76.40. That's 76.45. So we're already stopped out of the trade. It did meet the criteria as of early this morning when I grabbed the data, but we're out of the trade already. Wouldn't be looking at this. Let's come down to 7.4, negative 8.2. Okay, probably going to be RDN. Probably going to be a bit of a downward day. Yep, a little bit of a downward day. Upward trending, you can see, rolled out of this channel, potentially setting up another channel here. So we'll just assume that maybe we're getting into another duplicate channel here. RDN is a 7.4. It's 9 weeks old in a trend. Hasn't hit any targets. Targets are 27.26 and 29.52. So that puts our target right about there for our target. Good solid upward trending. It does have resistance right up here. We'll have to see how it plays out. The negative 8.2 on the thrusting indicates that it's running into some resistance, so wouldn't be too aggressive about it. Let's see here. Next one, 226. Qualcomm on a weekly. Qualcomm rolled back downward. You can see we do have some real solid double basing over here. Bit of early trending here, which again could be very interesting because we're near this base. We do have this gap down here as well. Qualcomm is not in a trade on the TT scanner. It is plus 44.42 on the thrusting pattern. Had recently gotten above this. Now, I will teach you that when you get into these modes here, where you've just recently breached out a new high and then you can see it fall back down, this is where you have to be cautious of what's called rejection. Rejection could bring it right back down into retesting these lows again. So if you're looking at this trade before the market opened today, and you don't have this little current bar here, you'd be looking at this as potential rejection, maybe seeing some downside move. We have the gap in play. Stop level should be pretty much right in here, just above the gap. And what we would be looking for on some type of move here would be maybe up into this 120, 128, 129 maybe area. ARKK 72, 72, 64. Cisco we've already looked at. Cisco is nice and solid, moving to the upside. INTC 62, 6 negative 2, don't want that one. 63 CMCSA. Again, looking really good, solid trending. You see this solid trending, I like it. Ally, ALLY, 6 and a 4. Okay, not great trending. Got through here on a breakout. Obviously, we can see what it's doing today. It's kind of rejecting a little bit. You do see this trend channel here, so it's not as aggressive, sloping to the upside. It does give us this upward kind of move here. CMCSA 6.3 with a 29. You would have to potentially establish a little more risk off of a stop level down here, simply because of this double basing pattern yesterday. And you would only be looking at a potential upward target maybe in here. So maybe 5.38%, maybe 2.5%. Not ideal. And this is, again, as of yesterday, it would have looked fantastic. As of this morning, it's not so great, but we'll see how it plays out. EXC 6.3 THC. THC is 6.3 with negative thrusting. Okay, negative thrusting should already warn you. Okay, THC is 6.3 coming across with negative 2.81. That should be a dead ringer. You probably don't want to be involved in that. And look at what it's doing today. It's rolled over, it's broken the channel. So again, you don't want to be actually taking these when it's breaking this channel. It's moving into a downward cycle. You can kind of ignore this big gap bar. It's broken away from this. It's got a 6.3, so it qualifies over here. THC, where am I? THC, but it's negative, so we stay away from it. 611 VIRT. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Okay, bit spotty. Remember I told you when you see things and they're kind of all over the place, you look at this. It's pretty much gone sideways for 4 months, 5 months. Yeah, it's got a 6 and 11. It's currently flat. It's got a plus 30.64 on the thrusting pattern. It's run into resistance here. We definitely see support down here. You can actually see it going way back over here, maybe a little lower, because this is rejection. See how it's come down, come back up? This is rejection. Come down, come back up. This is rejection. Obviously, it would be better if we could to try to buy this on an early stage rejection down in this area, but the trigger we have is right now. So again, your stop level would have to be near this rejection point, which coincides with this resistance area here. You see how it's come back up, rejected back down, then broken through it. So I'd want to have a stop level right in this area. And I would be looking for, from the open today, a move maybe up into this 1920, 1930, 1940 area, which is again about 4.5%. Nothing too serious. Big move here, but you know, looking at the chart, it's a little spotty. I'd probably cut my position maybe down to 30, 40, 50% of what I would normally trade. Set a hard stop right in this rejection area and see if I get lucky, maybe 2.5, 3% or a little higher. 5.3 A-core. Okay, interesting. Very spotty, very rotating. What do you see here? I should be asking you. Look at this chart, and you can see big wild moves, right? Just wild. You can see clear rejection down in this area. Very clear support down in this area. Very clear resistance and rejection up in this area. Do we have any defined trending? Well, technically, yeah, we have some trending right here, which coincides with our upward move. We're up in this broad kind of an upper channel right now. Oop. We're kind of in this broad upper channel right now. We're nearing this rejection point. We could get a spike. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. We could get a bit of a spike here, but ideally, even if I were, you know, holding a lottery ticket, this is about as far as it's going to go. 21%, 22%. You do have this holding pattern here, this little stalling pattern. That's about where I'd want to have my stop level, kind of right in this area, either right across here or maybe right across this low here. I would not want to have excessive risk in this trade, and ideally I'd probably be looking for, you know, 1820, 1830 as a target area, pulling 60% off. You do have, you know, a fairly clear upward trending. I just wouldn't be overly aggressive with this. So let's come back over here. A-core, SYF has that low factor. Let's go down here to VLY, 5.6 flat. VLY looks good. So now remember, I'm telling you it looks good because what I see in VLY is a 5, a 6, even though bearish trend, that's not so good, but an 84 is a pretty good number here. And you can see we're in this big breakout. What do we have as far as trending? We have really moderate trending across this channel. So when you look at it, we're kind of close to a toppy pattern. May get some rotation. So this changes my interpretation of VLY. We still have that opportunity though. VLY 5, 6, and 84 with regard to a thrust. We're in bearish trending. That's what the TTScanner does. It's longer term. And these weekly charts in downtrend, it's not going to be short term. The daily system would have caught some of this move, not the weekly. If I took this trade, it'd probably be only 20 or 30, maybe 40% of normal allocation. I would definitely be very cautious of a big pullback. So I would try to run some sort of a stop, possibly right around this area, maybe closer to the upper range of this bar right here, and looking at where the target is, maybe here, maybe here. So what kind of a target do I have? Maybe up in this area, maybe 3.5%, 4.5%, 5.5%, maybe. And I'd want to be very cautious. Now a spike could send it up into this area, which means we could be up in this 14% area, but I'm not counting on that. We're too close to this upper channel. Unless we get some big breakout move, it's very unlikely we're going to see something trend. So now here's an interesting one. Positive thrust, bullish, flat, 5, 6 with the Western Digital Corporation. So what happens when thrust is red but positive? Well, let's take a look at it. Okay, what you're seeing here is a tightening, consolidating, flagging formation. So you want to take a look at these on your charts, and you want to try to see, what's actually setting up on the chart as you're trying to make a decision. You're getting this flagging formation. We've got this big solid base. We come up off of this base to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ideally, we would be looking at a 5 here. So what we're looking at right now, ladies and gentlemen, is Western Digital Corporation in this threshold, in this apex range, right in here, a little too low, right in there, 38.74 gives us an apex range. If my calculation is correct, and this flagging setup is correct, if you know anything about flagging, this move with Western Digital Corporation, 5, 6 flat with a 9.6, could be a fairly early move for an upward trend. 5, 6 qualifies, positive thrusting, even though it's red. Okay, and again, I would have to take a look at this. I could, in theory, take the trade, set a stop level right down here, and say, all right, I'm going to risk potentially this, but I'm going to target from this level up here, maybe to this, maybe a little bit higher. So that's 7% target. That is a roughly 3% risk, and I could tighten up that risk if I had to. Maybe go in with a small 25 or 30% allocation, determining how I want to play this. Maybe set it up for a 15 to 30 day options trade, maybe a little longer, give myself room for this flag to play out. And of course, when you get this flag move, ideally, ladies and gentlemen, when you get this flag set up, see where we're at. See, this is very solid basing. So you have this really, it's really quite clean in this rejection range down here. I mean, this is really reject, 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 always wanting to base and bottom off of that level. So, you've got, I would say, Western Digital Corporation, given where we're at, given the flagging, given what we're looking at, you should potentially be looking at a range in this area 50 to 55 as an upper target area, and you know, it might be very powerful move to the upside going forward. It might be very powerful. This could be something that sets up over the next 30, 60 days. And again, today is July 20th, but you look at this setup, look at this flagging. You know, we could get a nice little move out of this. We could get a move from the apex level roughly here up into here, 20 to 37% move as a weekly swing trade. That's pretty powerful. So, and again, that's the power of looking for these setups, these fours. So let's take a look at some of these. I'm going to just look here at Citigroup. Okay, Citigroup, definitely flagging as well. Okay, down here near these lows, does it mean it's going to base and bottom? Nope, I don't really know if it's going to base or bottom, but it's definitely flagging. We have this rejection area back over here. You can see how it's come down, rejected, come down, rejected. So I'm going to draw the rejection area right here, calling that critical support. Upside move, let's just pick immediate targets, either one of these two targets. So from an apex area here, we have a move maybe of 11 to 15% to the upside. Downside risk, you would want to keep it fairly tight, probably right above this rejection area for your stop. And if it does rally any higher, we could move up into this type of rejection. You see how right across here, we see a lot of resistance up in this area, even some right down here. But again, we could see a big upside move. And remember, this is a good early warning. This is a 4-8. So let's take a look at MD. If I remember right, MD was going downward. Yeah, you definitely don't want to play MD. MD's got a 4-8 flat with moderate 31.25. I mean, yeah, it is rejecting down here. I mean, in a kind of a way, it looks like that marijuana sector, MJ, definitely trying to base here, so we could get a move to the upside. It could be an early warning sign with MD being a 4-8 flat, particularly with a 31.25. The next one here, a wall, it's a higher thrusting pattern. But you don't want to try to pick bottoms. Remember, this is going to give you other triggers moving forward. So I wouldn't be overly aggressive. Now, if you wanted to start an anchor position, or you wanted to, you know, maybe try with 10 or 20% allocation, go ahead, maybe. But in this downward cycle trend, basing here, you know, you're going to get other triggers. You just got to wait for it. Sometimes it's better to trade what's real now versus hope for 7 months that this may bounce. So let's go take, no, that's a 4 and a 9 with a short trigger. Let's take a look at Wall. Wall was the other one that traded pretty good. So Wall over here, where's Wall? There it is. 4 and 2. Yeah, no, that was actually off the daily chart. It's bearish. So you see how I'm looking? I like these like 3 3s if you can get them in bullish trending, like H-band. Let's see. If you can get 3 3 with bullish trending. Okay, so Huntington Bancorp is basing, moving higher. Remember, we have this immediate resistance area right in this area. We have this immediate support area down in this area. We've come off of that channel to the upside. You can kind of clearly see this here across this area. And across this area. So I'll pick it off of those highs. I went specifically to this high and across the middle area here. And again, Huntington Bancorp on a weekly was up here looking for it. I probably passed it. There it is. 3 3 short. That's the long term. Remember that this is the TTScanner long term. But look at the thrusting pattern. Very positive, right? So Where are we at with this? We need to see this weekly thrusting pattern break above this resistance area here. We need to see it try to move to the upside, and where we would be is we'd be basically looking for support to try to break above and move up into this area. We would be looking at the potential of a move from this area to this area, 7.5%. We would want to be very cautious of any risk to the downside here. So we would definitely need to run some sort of a stop kind of in this area near these highs in case we are wrong. But sometimes these threes, 3, 3, 4, 8, when you get this good solid positive thrusting, you could get some really good little short-term moves, 2, 4, 5% moves. Sometimes maybe even 10, 11, 12% moves. But it's all right over here looking at these movers. These MENT.com movers are tremendous resources for you to be able to find resources. Remember, I'm giving these to you every day. You just need to come over here, take a look at the new triggers first, then start looking for 3, 4, 5, 6 here, or bigger numbers. Start with these higher trends. But when you get down into these 3s and 4s, these could be early warning trends. These can be setup trends that are really just getting out of the starting gate. Okay? They can be really good around 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, especially when you get some good upward trending and some thrust confirmation. Hope this helps, guys, because like I said, the idea here is to teach you to become a skilled trader using my tools. Not to come out and pick for you, oh, this one, trade these. That's not what I want to do. I want to teach you to come in here and look at these, figure out which ones you like, figure out how to use these efficiently, taking into consideration my broader analysis. Remember, the broad analysis right now is that the markets are in bullish trending, and we are looking for upward trending. Yes, I am still expecting some sort of a top pullback, but right now you can't argue with the fact that the markets are bullish. Look at all of the bullish activity here, the long trending. Look at all the bullish activity here, the long trending. I mean, you just don't argue with the trend. You come in here and you look for these opportunities when they set up. Now, 1s and 2s can also be very positive. Okay, so you just got to kind of look at them, but understand that an 8, like ARKK, ARKW, here, let me come over here. ARKK. Okay, 8 and a 1, we're in a long trend, but 1 is not a very positive shift. 1 is actually very weak. Think of it as it's moving, but it's moving very slow. But we're still in a very solid uptrend. We are still long. We've already hit our targets. Our thrusting is moving higher. You really kind of want to look at these 8 2s or 2s and 3s with the thrusting. 1s can be difficult. Like, let's over here, Meta. Meta's down on a 1. KBH, I thought we looked at that. KBH is down on a 1. AN is another 1. Down on a 1. Looks like the topping pattern. In fact, let's take a look at the SPY. Topping pattern is setting up. Yeah, it's moving downward. We're getting some very big moves off of these 1. Microsoft. Yeah, see, the market's kind of rolled over today. But again, these opportunities are still there. Like I was trying to show you. Look at, even though some of these others aren't doing great, look at this. Wells Fargo, 8 and 3s, perfect. CMCSA, perfect, lovely, and that's just another 3. Apple, probably coming down because the market's coming down. Yep, but still holding up, not a whole lot of risk. That's a 3. So why am I telling you to look at these 3s? Is because these 3s, like this here with Wall, provide enough upward momentum that you typically get some sort of follow through. Now 5s can sometimes be even better. So Cisco, is a 6. Cisco might be under some pressure today. Look at that. Cisco's rocketing higher today. Nice open and up to almost 52.80, 52.70 right now. Very solid moves. USFD, okay, negative 20 though. The only problem, thrust is not positive. It's negative 20. USFD. Okay, weaker, flattening out. Not killing us, but not turning into any profit. And that's really all we have, except for this one, Post. And Post is actually up right now. In a downward trend, really quite consolidated. I told you I wouldn't want to trade this, even though it is basing. You might get a good move out of this. Remember, Post is a 4 and a 10 in a long-term bearish trend with moderately strong thrusting pattern. Might get a nice little bounce here. 4 and 10 indicates it's building a lot of momentum to the upside, but that could change over the next 5-6 days. But again, 4 and 10 with positive thrust, I would definitely look at it and consider if there's opportunity there. Okay, guys, hope this helps. Talk to you soon.